Hey, it's Houston from Media Rippers Incorporated, here today to review I Spit in Your Grave. I Spit in Your Grave is a 2010 remake of a 1978 horror cult classic movie, I Spit in Your Grave, obviously. It's about a girl named Jennifer Hills, who's played by Sarah Butler. She's an author, and she goes up in the woods in a cabin so that she can write her second novel. Locals start watching her, or four local men. They end up raping her because, well, they don't rape her, but they go in her house and harass her a little while after they watch her for a couple days and videotape her. She gets out, ends up running into the sheriff in the woods, and he is with them. So when he goes back to the house, they're gone, but he finds 2 joints and a couple bottles of wine, and he says, "Oh, I think you're making it up, hallucinating." Well, she isn't. And then the guys walk back in, and then she realizes the sheriff and the 4 guys are all friends, and they hold her down, and Michael, the slower one of the group, ends up raping her. She runs away, but they catch her, and then one by one they all have their way with her. The sheriff first, then Tommy, and then the other 2. The camera doesn't show it. It's a lot of build up and then really fast. Just rape done. Not really a whole lot to it. Anyway, then she ends up managing to escape again. She jumps in a river. She just kind of comes back a few months later. She's kind of like a ghost. She just disappears, and when she comes back, she starts killing them the same ways that they showed her. Like, at one point, they throw a bird at her house. She does that to them. Just different stuff like that. The first one that she kills is Michael. She lures him into a house and then puts a noose around his neck and drags him off the screen. Next one is Stanley and Andy. Stanley steps in a bear trap and Andy gets knocked out. And Stanley wakes up against a tree with his hands tied behind the tree and fish hooks in his eyelids and then tied to the tree so his eyes stay open. She rubs fish guts on his eyes, or not on his eyes, but on his face, and the crows peck out his eyes. Andy is tied to boards that are over top of a bathtub. She fills the bathtub up with water and then puts lye in it so that it turns into acid, and eventually he loses his strength from holding himself up and his face melts off, pretty much. Then Johnny is the next one to die. She knocks him out, and Johnny is the next one to die. She knocks him out and ties him up, and she cuts off his penis and shoves it in his mouth and lets him bleed to death after she pulls out his teeth. So that just doesn't seem very fun at all. Then the sheriff is the last to die. She captures him somehow. I don't remember really. I think she knocks him out somehow. And he wakes up bent over a desk with a shotgun in his ass. And there is a string attached to the trigger, attached to a pulley, over to Michael, the slow one, which was the first one to die, attached to his hand, so that when he wakes up, he pulls the trigger and it shoots through the sheriff's body, out his head, and kills Michael too. I don't understand why Michael's there, because I thought she killed him, so I don't know if that's just a writer's error or that's just how it happened. The mess-ups in the movie, there is just bad dialogue throughout the entire thing, and it just kind of turns into like a bad gore porn after a while with all the raping, and then when she kills him, she's kind of half naked. Her hair changes, like, positions through different scenes. Like, one scene will be messed up, next one it won't be, when it'll be in the same place. She spills wine on her legs at one point, like just on her leg, 'cause she has short shorts on, and it ends up by her neck, so I don't know if it just like magically rolled up there or what, but the toilet and bathtub change sides throughout the movie in the bathroom, and the rubber bands on Michael's wrist change colors throughout the movie. Finally, this is a surprisingly good movie, but I'd say just rent it, don't buy it, because I bought it and I've only watched it maybe 2 or 3 times, and now I've seen it enough times that I know what's going to happen and when it's going to happen, so it's more of like a one-time watch movie, maybe once or twice, and then you're done, so just rent it. It's probably more gruesome than the first one, but that's because it's also much more like developed screenplay and what we can do with cameras and anything else. So I just definitely just rent it and then watch it. Don't buy it because it's just kind of a waste of $10. Well, that's my review for I Spit in Your Grave.